What's up, world? It's your girl, Sexpert Tyomi here, aka Glamazon Tyomi, and this is another episode of Ask Tyomi, which is my version of YouTube Live. So, yes, you are watching me live right now, and if you are watching the replay, welcome, because I'm pretty sure you will get something out of this. So, let's hop right into it, and please do not be afraid to leave a comment inside of the chat below, and don't be afraid to ask questions in the chat below. Just please don't be rude, and please don't dip into like asking me deeply personal questions about my own sex life, because I am not inclined to answer them. And please note that if you have any questions that you would like to ask me for me to answer here anonymously, hit me up on asktyomi@gmail.com. What up, Tiffany? What up, boo? But you know what? I have to let you guys know, like, just because you write me there in that inbox does not necessarily mean that I will be answering you back personally, because I have over 1,300 emails in that box, and I cannot personally get to everyone, because some of you, hey, Rayana, hey, Angelina, some of you are asking me questions that really is not just like one question, and it's not a simple answer. Like, many of you are asking me questions for me to basically give you therapy for free, and I cannot do that. Well, I won't do that because, of course, this is my livelihood, and you get the story. So I'm doing very well this morning. I woke up feeling inspired because I want, again, to always make sure that all of you are living out the lives that you desire, that you're having the sex lives that you desire and crave, and all that good stuff. Thanks, Marika Carr, for the love on my afro. Thanks to all of you for the love on my afro. This takes time. This takes time, and it takes days for it to get this perfect. And right now, I feel that it's completely perfect. So I wrote an article on my blog this week, glamorerotica101.com, and it posed the question of if stroke matters more than size, or if size matters more than stroke. And you guys can go on my blog site, my sex education blog, and read it, glamorerotica101.com, and it's pretty awesome. But this is the truth, because I've had quite a few men ask me this in my inboxes with an S recently. And I have to tell you that both size matters and your stroke matters. And I'll tell you why. A lot of you guys are so hung up on your penis size because you watch so much porn and you think that every man in the world has a fucking mandingo. No, he does not. I'm going to put this out here. This is not just once. I'm going to have to keep restating it because for some reason, men, you guys are super obsessed with your penises. The average sized male penis around the globe is 5.526 inches. That is average. You want to know why? Because on average, the vagina lengthens to 5.5 to 6 inches when a woman is fully aroused. And guess what's at the end of the vagina? The cervix. So guess what? If you are a guy with 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches, you're not going to fit all the way inside of the vagina, not the average vagina. So you're going to have to find an above average vagina that can, vaginas already are elastic and they stretch and they can fit to size. I mean, we literally push babies that are the size of watermelons or small melons out of our vaginas. So that's evidence enough that the vagina can stretch. But guys, you have to stop being so obsessed over how big you are. A lot of you will write me and say, well, I'm 7 inches. Is 7 inches enough to pleasure a woman? And it's like, it's not about how big you are. It's how well do you fit within the woman that you're wanting to have sex with. Because every woman's vagina is different. You have small, narrow vaginas. You have short and wide vaginas. You have wide and deep vaginas. You have deep and narrow vaginas. So, yeah, you could be 7 inches, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be able to pleasure the woman that you're with, because maybe your 7 inches is too much for her small vagina. So at that point, this is when stroke comes in. This is why I say that stroke is just as important as size. Because if you have a genital mismatch, and this happens often, guys, ladies and gentlemen, a genital mismatch happens often because we're not taking the clues from a person's face and hands and body to know exactly if that person's going to be a good fit for us. Heavy porno desensitized men to the fullest. It has. It absolutely has. But men need to learn how to compartmentalize. Pornography is a form of entertainment. And people are literally cast. They have casting calls. And these men have to audition before they even get on camera for a full feature film. And they cast these guys bigger because the average man's mind, every man wants to be bigger, right? So porn producers are always placating on the fantasies of men, and that's why they cast men who have these huge penises. But the average man is not shaped like that. The average man is like 5 inches, 6 inches, and that's way more than enough to be able to reach the bottom or the cervix. That's way more than enough. You don't need a 7, 8 to 10 incher. You don't. And I always ask men this. If you woke up today with a 10-inch penis, would you know how to use it? Many men out there are crying over having an average size penis, but don't even know how to use what they have. You want to get surgery, you want pills to grow, you want enhancements, but you don't even know how to use what you have. You're going to wake up tomorrow with a 10-inch penis and you're not going to know what to do with it because you don't even know what to do with the 6-incher that you have or the 4-incher that you have. Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. So this is what needs to happen. Men need to learn how to put the woman in the right position to make up for the genital mismatch. And let me tell you something. Please stop saying that a woman has no walls if you have sex with a woman whose vagina is wider than what your penis can accommodate. Every single last woman has walls. Some women have tighter, more toned walls than others because they practice Kegels. And then other women have naturally wider walls where she needs a thicker, fuller penis to accommodate. So stop shaming women and saying, oh, you must be ran through because I can't feel anything. That's not what it is. What it is that your penis is not thick enough to accommodate the size of my vagina. And that's not a shade or anything. That's basic anatomy. So what if you do get with somebody that has a wide set vagina and you have a penis that's a little thinner that is not hitting on any of the walls? You know what you do? You put her in the right position to make her vagina more narrow. And then it's all about your stroke. Are you going to curve your stroke up or curve it to the side so that you can hit those walls in those places inside of the vagina? Kegels only help so much. If a woman naturally has a wide set vagina, she needs a wider penis to accommodate her. A woman can have strong vaginal walls, but still have a wide set vagina. You know, it's the size maybe the reason why I always have to pee. So you having to pee during sex, that's your body wanting to squirt. And you need to use the bathroom. Always make sure you void before you have sex, because if you have sex on a full bladder, you put yourself in the line or in the way of possibly contracting a urinary tract infection, which is no fun for women. Always void before you have sex. And if you get that sensation to pee, that is your body wanting to squirt. Just let it flow. Let it flow. Put some sheets on your bed that you don't give a fuck about, or put some plastic down and just let it flow. Like I've developed the skill set of ejaculation, so I'm a squirter and I know how to just allow my body to relax and let that squirting orgasm come on, but also too, sometimes it is how a man is stroking you in his position that may press up against your urethra, or it may press up against your bladder and make you feel like you want to pee. But that's the entire reason why squirting happens, because you hit the G spot or you hit a certain spot on the clitoris, and it just triggers this sensation to make you want to release. And that's fine. That's healthy. Let's let it ride. But back to the subject at hand about stroke and size. Somebody asked me earlier, what are the clues to know the size or the shape of a woman's vagina, or the size and the shape of a man's penis? So there are techniques that have been used for centuries by Taoist matchmakers in China. All right. And they've created a system using facial mapping and using the hands to determine the size of the genitals. A man's thumb correlates to the shape and the size of his penis. And also, you look at the hands, not the feet. Not the feet. You look at the hands. And also on a woman's face, like the shape of her eyes, the wetness of her eyes can also tell the shape and the wetness of her vagina and also the size of her lips. So if a woman has large lips here on her face, she more than likely has large lips down on her vulva. I have like the basics of squirting on here. But if you want to watch squirting, you can just go to pornhub.com and you can watch it happen there. In the future, I will be having videos and classes on how to squirt. But I'm going to tell you something. Please stop obsessing over this. Honestly, like so many of you are like, oh my God, I just have to squirt or I have to see her squirt. And it's like, if it doesn't happen, that's okay. It's not necessary and it's not something that has to happen. It is a bodily function like every other bodily function. And if a woman doesn't have well-developed pelvic muscles and if a woman is not comfortable enough to allow herself to have that release, and it's not going to happen. And your eager encouragement and excitement, enthusiasm is not going to make her squirt any faster. Okay. If you don't squirt, that's normal. It's fine. It's fine, you guys. Like stop obsessing over this stuff. You watching in porn and you think, oh man, every woman should be able to do that. If you do not squirt, it's fine. There are some women who will squirt maybe one time in their life and never do it again. There are some women who will never do it, and that's fine, and it's healthy, and it's not necessary to squirt. It's a really good orgasm. It's very intense, and if you want to try to learn how to do it, you can, but it would take time and practice. But if you never do it, that's fine. Accept yourself as you are. You're not a squirter. That's fine. It doesn't matter because a woman's ability to ejaculate has nothing to do with her ability to reach an orgasm without squirting, and it has nothing to do with her ability to procreate. Okay? So there are some size queens out here when it comes to penis. There are a lot of women out here who know exactly what they like and what they prefer. Me personally, I've had penises of every size, from 1 inches when erect to 12 inches when erect. And I personally know within that spectrum what fits well with me and what works well with me. And if I come across a penis that is smaller in size or smaller than what I'm used to, I know how to work with it because I know about sex positions. This is what the Kama Sutra talks about. If you guys have not read the Kama Sutra, I would suggest that you do so because it talks about the different pairings. There are 3 classifications of male penis and 3 classifications of female vaginas. And each one has a pair. But if you end up matching up with somebody who does not match with your size, you need to know how to stroke and you need to know how to accommodate for the lack of or too much size. So let's say, I have a narrow, short vagina and I get with a guy that has a 9-inch penis. We're going to have to use sex positions that will widen and open the vaginal canal to allow him to get in deeper. And we would have to use some lube. We would have to use some lube. So positions that widen the vagina, if you're in missionary and you're lying on your back and your legs are in a V, that widens the vagina. If you are in doggy style, and your booty is all the way up or it's at the edge of the bed and it's up, you're spreading it out. Being on top, it allows the woman to have control over the depth of penetration. For a woman that is performing with a man that's larger, it's better for you to be in full control and be on top so that way he's not, going too deep and hard. and hard. A good quality lube, I would say Uber Lube. I've always been a fan of Astroglide. I like how slick it is, but recently the glycerin in Astroglide has been bothering me because it gets all like sticky and goopy. But Uber Lube, and there's a new lube that I'm going to be promoting on my page here sometime next week. that I really recommend that you guys get. So I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but I'll talk about it in a future video next week, and you guys can start purchasing it and get it. But lube is your friend. Lube is your friend, especially when you have a genital mismatch. If you are a guy that's larger in size and you're having sex with a woman whose vagina is narrow and it's smaller, you need to have lube. What to do for a partner who doesn't last long, that's a completely different video. We're not going to talk about that here because I've talked about it in videos previous, and I'm going to have to keep talking about it. For the man that does not know how to last longer than 3 minutes, he needs to have self-control. He needs to learn how to have control over his ejaculatory process. He needs to learn how to practice edging when he's self-pleasuring, and then also edge while he's having sex with a woman. But that's a completely different video. We'll cover that topic maybe sometime tomorrow or over the weekend. But back to stroke and size. Size matters because you need to completely fit within the vagina perfectly so that both of you are having a good experience. Stroke matters because it's not just about having the penis inside the vagina. It's how are you going to enter the vagina and massage the walls. That's what stroke is all about. It's about massaging the walls. And there are little like divots and like, pockets in the vagina that you can hit as well. So I'm missing all of your questions and comments. They're like rolling past too fast. So you may want to put them back into the chat box so I can address them. But if it's something that's off topic, I don't really want to discuss it here because I want to make sure I get everything out that I want to say about size and stroke before we move on to talking about something else. What to do when erection is too hard? This can cause issue with size. Well, if your erection is too hard, I always say it's all about the sex position, it's about lube, and it's about your stroke. And I always talk about this in my seminars, about the muscly dicks, like dicks that get super hard and just like, I'm here. These are erections that have no type of bend, no type of flex, and that type of erection can be painful to a woman if you don't know how to stroke properly. And when I say stroke properly, it's all about stroking in a way that makes it pleasurable for her. So, you're going to have to experiment with sex positions, and you should start out with shallow strokes. Start out by just using your head to circle around the entry of the vagina, and then you enter the head slightly right into the opening of the vagina, and you ease your way in. You ease your way in inch by inch. And while you do that, focus on her face and focus on her body and how her body is responding to what you're doing. But there is no race and there is no rush. If you have a super rock hard erection, then you should take your time, because eventually your erection may lessen a bit and make your penis softer. So ease your way in. Don't just try to go in for the kill. Like literally just bit by bit. Take your head, circle it around the opening, and then just start with the head, massaging it in the opening lightly, and then you just go in a little deeper and swirl it around and curve the stroke up and then down and then come in some more. And now you just continue with the swirls and the upstroke curve and the downstroke, and just keep until you're all the way in. And then when you get all the way in, you can just hold it there and breathe. Sync your breath with your partner. Let her feel you pulsating inside of her, and then even ask her to like grip your dick. Like squeeze your walls. You know what I'm saying? So a good position for a man 7 to 8 inches that doesn't hurt. Terry, Moy. If you're having pain during sex, then it's not just about the position. You need to figure out exactly why it's hurting you. 7 to 8 inches is a little above average. So the question is, what's going on with you that you're having pain while he's having sex? Because dyspareunia, which is painful sex, is a common form of female sexual dysfunction. And there are reasons for why pain is happening. Sometimes it could be vaginal dryness. You're not dry enough. or you're not aroused enough. I mean, you're not wet enough, or you're not aroused enough, you know. And so that is something you have to determine first before the sex position, because your pain may not be coming from the position. It may be coming from something that's going on with your health. Maddie White, if you want to know how to gain confidence in your sexuality, I would suggest that you take my webinar. I have a webinar at the end of this month. Well, it's April 19th, and it's called Sexy and Confident. So I will be teaching you ways to gain confidence in your sexuality and in being able to express that. That's something that I'm not going to teach right here, right now. But the webinar is only $10, and you can register at sexyconfident.eventbrite.com. How to relax so I can orgasm with your new partner. What do you do to relax? Like, a lot of the questions that you guys have are literally things that you can answer yourself if you question yourself. You know, because you got to ask yourself, why are you nervous with a new partner? What's making you feel nervous? Once you can like pinpoint what's making you feel nervous, then you question that. Okay, well, why? You know, oh, are you feeling nervous because you feel like you're holding expectations for this new partner? Drop the expectations. You know what I'm saying? Drop the expectations. And not only that, but take a shower, get yourself clean, light some candles, listen to some music. Whatever you do to relax in general is what you should do to relax before you have sex. Not only that, but you need to get out of your own head. Like, if you're nervous about having sex with a new partner in general, then you and that new partner need to talk about your sex before you have it. So that way you know what you're getting into, you know. But have your partner give you a massage. Drop those expectations. Take a hot bath or shower. Light some lavender candles. Put on some music. Whatever you need to do to get comfortable, get comfortable. You know, but if you've never had an orgasm with the previous partner, then there's some work that you have to do on yourself, because you have all these things that may be layered on top of your orgasm, and it's repressing your ability to reach your orgasmic peak. Should you be self-conscious about your large labia? Why would you be? Why? Like, why should you be self-conscious about how your body is made? You should love and embrace your body as it is. Every single last woman has a different anatomy. Same with men. Some women have smaller labia minora. Some women have larger labia that hang outside of the labia majora. It's biology. Get out of your own way, ladies and gentlemen. Please. Love your body as it is. Stop comparing yourself to the next person, because the next person is not you. That next person is not you, and you are not the next person. Stop getting these programs into your mind that you have to look like something else or someone else, or like the pictures you see in books, because those pictures aren't even anatomically correct most of the time. Those pictures are just blanket representations to show you where things are. Get out of your own way. Stop self-sabotaging because you think that you have to look like something else. Check those expectations at the door, because it's not even who you are. It's not even who you are. When I was younger, I used to feel insecure about my labia because I was like, well, they hang down. And I had a partner that said, no man gives a fuck about that shit. He said that to me. He was like, we don't care about that. If anything, it's even more pleasurable because it gives us something to play with and have in our mouths when we go down on you. Over half of the things that we think men care about or our partners care about, they don't. They don't. And it's really just us perpetuating those things onto ourselves. Leave the tightening cream alone, lady. All you need to do are Kegels. Clench your muscles and let them go. Clench your muscles and let them go. While you're at work, you can be doing this. While you're watching TV, you can be doing this. It's really simple. And when you clench your vaginal muscles, your anus will contract too. The same muscle you use to stop your flow of pee, that's the muscle you use to strengthen your vaginal canal. Squeeze it and let it go. Squeezing, let it go. Squeezing, let it go. That's a Kegel. Leave these creams and shit like that alone. If you want to use something that's natural that can help you tone and tighten your vagina, use yoni steaming. Yoni steaming is basically you use herbs that are known to be healthy and toning for the vagina, and you sit over a bowl of these herbs that have been boiled, and you let the steam activate the medicinal properties in the herbs, and then that steam can then help cleanse and balance and tighten and tone your vagina. That's a better way. It's a natural way. You couple that with Kegels, you will be good to go. I've been practicing Kegels for quite some time now. So I have a tight vagina. It's healthy. And when you queef, the pussy fart, that means that you have nice and toned walls. You can do Kegels 15 minutes a day, every day. Or you can do them throughout your day. You can take 1 minute and you can just you want to hold your muscle for 5 seconds and release for 5 seconds. So that's 10. And you can do 20 reps of that. And you do that every day, and eventually you will have a tighter vagina. But guys, please be careful about these products that you see on the market that promise certain things, like promise a bigger penis or promise a tighter vagina. Let me tell you, a lot of these creams that you want to use to tighten your vagina, all it does is bring more blood into the vagina so that your vaginal walls swell. It's the same thing with these products when it comes to penis enlargement. These pills and these things that you take, they're doing nothing but making more blood flow into your genitals. That's it. That's the only magic behind it, is that more blood is traveling down into your genitals, causing stronger erections. The stronger your erection, the bigger and thicker your penis appears. And the more that the vagina is aroused and more blood that comes into that area, the walls swell and it feels like the vagina narrows because now the walls are swollen. So these creams aren't going to make you tight permanently. These creams are not going to make you create a larger penis for you permanently. They're simply bringing more blood into your genitals. But there are more natural ways that you can do that if that's what you want to do. There are herbs that can assist you in that. You know what I'm saying? So do not believe the hype. And be careful, because some of these creams and things that are on the market, they're also made with other chemicals that are not good for your vagina. All right? So be aware of that. But stroke, you guys, I'm going to be doing more videos on stroke technique. And I'm going to be producing a series of adult films. I will be the narrator while I direct some of my favorite adult film stars to get into position and show these things. Because when it comes to stroke, there's only so much that I can show here on YouTube with clothes on. But it makes more sense when you can see it actually done with real bodies, real people. So again, I won't be the one in those positions, but I will be a narrator and giving instruction. So I like to hold my erection firmly and pump blood down there, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's a good technique. And also, I'm glad you said that, sir, because you have control over your body and you can tell your body what you want it to do. Sometimes men, you guys are holding negative mantras in your mind when you're having sex, like, oh, I don't want to bust, I don't want to bust, I don't want to bust, don't bust too quick, don't bust too quick, don't bust too quick. And that is a mantra that actually produces anxiety within your body, and it causes your body to be on edge and to release adrenaline, and it can cause your heart rate to speed up, and then from there you will shoot your load early. But when you can change the mantra in your mind, and when you start to tell yourself and know that you have full control over your body and your bodily functions, and you start telling your brain what to do, it will follow suit. You are the commander of your ship. Your ship is your body. So as a man, there is no reason and no excuse for you to not know how to extend the life, extend your sex life and push your orgasm further back. It all just depends on how dedicated are you to doing that type of training for yourself. Does having a bent penis help her climax? Not necessarily. Again, it's about how are you using that bent penis. Because again, you guys think that it's just simply about anatomy. It's not. It's not. Anatomy only plays a part in it. You could have a penis that's 6 inches and it's a banana dick and it curves up, but if you don't know how to use the banana dick, then guess what? Guess what? It's not going to pleasure anybody. So it's not just about the size and the shape of your penis. It's also about, does your size and the shape of your penis fit adequately within her vagina? And then when you are in there, do you know what to do with it? Do you know how to stroke? Do you know how to hit those places within her vagina that are pleasurable? Because it's not just about the G spot. There's the A spot too. You know? So that's what it's about. Yes, I am single currently by choice, but I have a few lovers, not necessarily like we're not having sex, but I have people I entertain myself with. That was a question that somebody put in that I was going to answer, and I forgot what it was. A spot, yes. The A spot is located on the cervix. And when this spot is stimulated, it creates a heavy amount of moisture within the vagina and these radiating orgasms. Like an A spot orgasm, it just comes in waves. And with each wave, your pussy gets wetter and wetter and wetter and wetter. And it's a certain way that spot must be stroked because cervical penetration can feel very painful. But if you press into that stroke, that's what causes those orgasms. But how is the A spot reached? By deep penetration, deep pressing penetration, not deep stabbing penetration. You got to take your time, and when you get deep, you press in. And it also depends on the sex position. The position that I experience A-spot orgasms in primarily is from the back when I'm lying on my stomach with a few pillows underneath. And he's pressing. Clitoral orgasms will not make your vagina tighter. Clitoral orgasms can cause your vaginal muscles to spasm while you're having an orgasm, because that's what it is. Like, it is a release, and it's an involuntary movement of muscles, like muscle spasms. So when you have an orgasm in general, whether it's like nipples, clitoral, vaginal, your vaginal walls are going to tighten and contract. But that is not what's going to help your vagina remain tight. You have to work it out. The vagina is a muscle. It's a collapsed muscle. So just like the muscles in your arms, if you want if you want to have toned arms, guess what you got to do? You got to do curls, right? You want to have a defined chest, what do you have to do? Push-ups, right? So with the vagina being a muscle, you also have to work it out through doing Kegels. Squeezing, contracting, and releasing your muscles. It's so simple, ladies. It is so simple, and men can do it too. And by men practicing Kegels, it helps with preventing incontinence, which means peeing when you don't want to pee. And also it helps you with your ejaculatory process. I don't even know what that says. Does a clitoral orgasm feel like a vaginal orgasm? Not necessarily. When you orgasm from clitoral stimulation, you feel most of that energy concentrated at the top of your pelvis, and you feel your vaginal muscles contract, right? But you feel your clitoris also pulsating. The clitoris has legs that go down into the vagina, and that's what gives the vagina its sensitivity, are the legs and the bulbs of the clitoris. So when you stimulate the clitoris, you're also stimulating the vagina. And that's why the vagina gets tight and moist after you have a clitoral orgasm. But when you have a vaginal orgasm, it is literally from stimulation, from penetration. So the penis is stroking and massaging the legs of the clitoris, which are inside of the vagina, and making you feel good. And when you have that vaginal orgasm, your vagina will tighten and spasm. You will feel more moisture and you will feel your body shake. It's like you start to feel the energy from like your lower back where your coccyx is, because that energy is rising up from your root chakra and it makes your pelvis feel warm, you know. But every woman will have a different experience when it comes to how they feel or what they experience when they have a vaginal orgasm. So do not take what I'm saying as full on truth, because every single last woman is going to have a different sensation and a different way that she feels when she's having a orgasm from penetration. You recently lost your experience, your virginity. You haven't had this experience. Keep living, honey. Keep living. Like, I want you guys to understand something. Your sex life is going to change as you get older. Your sexual desires and what you need and what turns you on, all of that stuff is going to change as you get older. So if you're just jumping into being sexually active, congratulations. Thanks for joining us. But also make sure that you realize it's going to change. It's going to change. When I was 19, I never thought that I would be into some of the shit that I'm into now. And that's 10 years later, 29 years old. You know? So please keep that in your head and also know that your experiences will be varied based on how much knowledge you have over yourself, how much knowledge your partner has on you, and how willing you and your partner are to learn each other and learn and try new things. You know what I'm saying? So, does size matter? Yes, it does, because your penis has to fit properly inside of the vagina. But if your penis does not fit properly inside the vagina, that's when you need to know how to stroke properly and how to put her in the right positions. And again, I'm going to be showing more stroke technique and positions and all that here on YouTube, because there's only so much I can do by just talking and telling you, right? Have I tried a female condom? Yes. And it is interesting, you know. I prefer the male condom because I don't want to have to prep by putting this piece of plastic in my vagina to cover. Like, how could do I orgasm from any position other than being on top? Listen, the topic of how to orgasm when it comes to women is something I'm not going to cover in this live feed because it's a full-on discussion in itself. Not only that, but I'll say this again. The average woman is not having an orgasm during sex, point blank, period. There are probably like 25% of women that are having orgasms regularly during sex, and they are lucky females. Shouts out to them. Shouts out to them. However, if you are a woman that is experiencing anorgasmia, which means an inability to orgasm or reach an orgasm regularly during sex, then you have an issue. And the issue is that there are things that are being layered on top of your orgasm that are suppressing your ability to do so. So it's not just about sex positions. It's about you uncovering what is stopping you from being able to connect emotionally and connect energetically and spiritually enough inside of the sexual experience to allow your body to move through the sexual response cycle from excitement and plateau to orgasm. All right. So there are things that are sitting on top of your orgasm, suppressing it. One of the major ones may be anxiety that you're holding in your mind about needing or wanting to orgasm. And that stress and that anxiety will cause your orgasm to just stay there. Like, nope, I'm not coming. I'm not coming. Well, Jessica DaCosta, it's time for you to do some self-work. There are things that are blocking and suppressing your ability to orgasm. And when you are ready to start doing that self-work to uncover what's keeping you from reaching the orgasm that you desire, then you will start having orgasms during sex. But until then, you're just going to be going through the cycle and feeling good, but not reaching that ultimate peak. Oh my God. I feel like I'm getting sick. Shouts out to my friend, because I swear to God, he got me sick. But whatever. Anyway, make sure, and this is what, I mean, I'm going to be encouraging guys more regularly to do this. You guys need to stop focusing so much on your size and start focusing on how to use what you have. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. You really need to start focusing on how to use what you have, how to communicate with your partner, how to read her body language. And before you even take the clothes off, why don't you guys experiment with different sex positions before you actually get it on? It can turn into like a cute wrestling match. Everyone should have a Kama Sutra or a book of sex positions. There are literally sex positions for every day of the year. People have been saying this forever. Size does not matter. No, size does matter. Size matters because if the size is not accommodating for your vagina as a woman, you're not going to have good sex. And as a man, if you can't fit all the way into the vagina, you're not going to be having good sex. So size does matter. What matters more than the actual physical size is your size accommodating? Is your size accommodating? And if your size isn't accommodating, what knowledge do you have to make it accommodating? That is what matters. You need to stop fudging each other. And I don't know what that is. Some of your comments don't make any sense, guys. It's not the wand, it's the wizard behind it. Absolutely. Chloe Wimberly says size matters for me. No, size matters in general. Size matters in general. Please get that through your head, guys. But it's about, is that size accommodating? Is it accommodating for the woman that you're performing with? And if it's not accommodating, then guess what? You need to know the sex positions to make it to fit properly. But unfortunately, for some matchups, there aren't positions that you're going to be able to get in to make it pleasurable no matter what you do. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, that's when you reach an impasse where you say, is this relationship going to work for me on a sexual level? You know? Some of these things are like moving past so fast. Size matters, but bigger isn't always better. Exactly, Elle. Bigger is not always better. But that's like a huge misconception. With the A spot, is it a pressure feeling when he is pushing? No. When he, like, you know how it feels when a man is deep inside of you, right? But again, when he reaches that cervix, he has to press and take his time and be gentle, because the cervical penetration can like be painful. It can feel like sharp needles or very heavy, hard cramps, you know. But it really isn't a pressure feeling. It's like a tingly, warming sensation when he's hitting that spot. Like when he's deep in there, it feels euphoric. Like when he's hitting that A spot, it almost feels like you're floating on air to a degree. It's like when he starts stroking it, everything just begins to feel tingly and warm, and you start to feel your vagina moisten, and like it feels amazing. You're not going to want him to stop. Yeah. Do you have to have a 6 inches to hit the A spot? No. Again, guys, it's all about sex positions. Sex positions. If you are a short plus size woman, you can get into pretty much any sex position, especially missionary where your legs are up, you know, and doggy style. Like your height really does, height does factor into it, but missionary and doggy style and cowgirl are 3 positions with many variations that anybody of any size can get into with ease. With ease. It's all about practicing. Like before you have sex, guys, literally, when you just want to like play around or fuck around with your partner, practice getting into different sex positions before you have your clothes off. Because you want to see how it works before you get into the sexual experience. Like, you don't want to have him with his erection and you're all turned on and then you're trying to figure it out like puzzle pieces that don't fit. If you practice before you actually have sex, then you will be well prepared when you get into the sexual experience, and then it won't feel awkward as fuck when you're trying to get it in. So practice with clothes on. I have no booty, so I'm insecure about doing doggy style. Well, then don't do it. Look, y'all really, you guys really put too much pressure on yourselves. If there is something that you feel insecure about that you are not ready to face in the present moment, then I would suggest you avoid that thing until you're ready to face it. Not all of us are going to have big ass booties, but the body that you have is the body that you were blessed with, and it's the body that you need to accept and love on every single day. Sleepy Love, I am frustrated because it makes me sad to know that so many of you are in your own way. It makes me sad to know that so many of you are not doing the work necessary to remove these blocks out of your life. And I'm not judging you because I was once there where you are. But one day I got so frustrated and agitated with just being in this space of feeling like I was not in control of my sex life that I decided to stop getting in my own way. And I decided to stop allowing other people's opinions and opinions outside of myself to affect me. And I decided to take control of my sex life. And it was the best decision I could have ever done. And it's not until all of you make that same decision for yourself that you will move into the space with your sex life that you desire. You can sit here and you can ask me questions all day, every day, all day long, and I can give you answers. But if you have not done the work on yourself to remove the blocks that are repressing your sexual energy and repressing your sexual expression, then my advice is not going to do anything because you're not going to be able to apply those things to your life. So if you feel me being if you hear the frustration in my voice, it's because I just want you guys to get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. And so many of you write me and you want me to respond, but you don't even realize that the first step to your improvement is for you to make a commitment to work on whatever is suppressing you or repressing your sexuality. What are the best positions for A-spot stimulating? I will cover that in another video. You guys are asking me about sex positions, and this is a scope or a live feed about stroke and penis size. But at the same time, I feel like I've already said everything that I need to say on the topic. Again, if you have a curved dick, it's all about experimenting. You guys have to be patient, and you guys have to make the time to experiment with stroke and experiment with sex positioning. I cannot stress that enough. If you are not having sex, if you are not practicing, and if you are not being aware and conscious in the moment and in the now when you're having sex, if you're just going through the motions, you're not going to learn. You need to be conscious and aware and intentional when you're in the sexual experience. You know, oh, yay, Japan, that's what's up. Well, you're welcome. You know, this is why I do what I do, because I want everyone to have proper sex lives. But you guys have to understand, there's only so much that I can do for you. There's a lot you have to do on your own. In learning your body, and learning the body of your partner, and experimenting, and being patient, and taking your time, and actually having sex and applying the things that I'm telling you to do. You know, you have to be conscious and intentional when you're having sex. If you're just going through the motions, you're not going to reach that orgasm, ladies. If you're just going through the motion, fellas, she's not going to reach that orgasm because she can feel that you're not even here with her. Be conscious and be present. You know, hey, what up, UK? That's what's up. Preach, a lot of ladies have this problem. Knowledge of self, female sexual dysfunction is common. So common that over 40% of women will have an experience with it within their lifetime. And I can tell you, I've only been having sex since I was 19, and I have had issues with reaching orgasm from penetration. I have had vaginal dryness issues. I have had pH imbalances. I have had times when I didn't have any desire. And those things did not scare me when they were happening to me because I knew that it was a symptom of something else going on in my body. Like, I'm 22 years old and my vagina's dry. And it's like, why? It's the condoms I'm using, the products I'm using, and it's also the environment that I'm having sex in and the person I'm having sex with. All of those things factored into why my vagina was getting dry. And so this is the same thing. Like, when we talk about oh, I cannot reach an orgasm. It's like, what are these things that are compressing or depressing that ability? So just because you come and you ask me, how can I orgasm from penetration, does not mean I'm going to give you the answer, because I don't have the answer for you. You have the answer because you know exactly what's suppressing and repressing you. I can help you with unloading those things so that way you can get to that point where you're open enough to like be free and let go. But I can't do that through like a single email. That takes sessions. Sessions. You know what I'm saying? How do you have nipple orgasm with large breasts? It's not about how, it's if. It's not about how, it's if. Some women are stimulated that way and can reach orgasm from nipple stimulation, and some can't. And it's not about the size of your breast. It's about how sensitive your nipples are and if you get stimulated from that. Can women orgasm from nipple stimulation? Yes, they can. But is it the nipple size that determines that? Absolutely not. It's the woman's sensitivity. Like, there was a time in my life where my nipples were not that sensitive and I didn't get anything from it. And then something happened with my energy and things shifted and I was able to orgasm from nipple stimulation. So it has nothing to do with the size of the breast, but everything to do with the woman's like sensitivity and how aroused she gets from that type of stimulation. It's not about the size of the breast. Would slow strokes be better for a guy with a large penis? Stephen Nelson, yes. And I think you were the same one to ask me about the sex positions if you are well endowed. Listen, with sex in general, you should start slow because you don't want to speed into anything. It's just like when you're driving a car. I always think about sex as in driving a car. When you hop into your car, especially if it's cold outside, you just don't start the engine and go because you know that your engine is running slow, the oil hasn't been warmed up, and it's not going through the pistons inside of the engine in order for the engine to run properly. So you have to let the car warm up in order for you to have a smooth ride. So you warm the car up, or you warm the body up with foreplay first, right? And then no matter what size you are, you take it slow. You don't just step on the gas and get going. Why? Because you're fucking going to crash, right? You're going to fucking crash if you just step on the pedal and go. Especially if you have a car that goes from 0 to 60 in like 2.5 or 3 seconds. You know what I mean? So you want to ease in. You want to press lightly on the pedal to give it a little gas, right? You take your time. You ease your way in. And then when you see pockets inside of traffic where you can dip in and out and you can increase your acceleration, then you do that. It's the same with sex. You start slow. You start slow. And this is something that I think a lot of men just really don't utilize, and it's such a great skill. Start slow. Start at the opening of the vagina and just take your penis and rub it around. Rub it around. And I'm going to tell you, the first 2/3 of the vagina, like the very opening and a few inches in, that's where most of the nerve endings are concentrated. So if you focus your energy on stimulating the opening of the vagina and right on the inside, spending some time here and slowly easing your way in, that's more stimulating than just going, let me get in there, you know. Do I have a video on getting past sexual trauma? I do not. I am not a sex therapist where I necessarily deal with that type of thing. I recently had a client who was in therapy as well as being in coaching with me. So I was able to assist in my own way in helping her overcome the trauma. But I would suggest if you are dealing with overcoming sexual trauma that you seek out a certified and licensed sex therapist, because that is not my personal forte. Because I'm not trained in the modalities that help you move past that. I know several sex therapists that are licensed that can help you with that if you would like a recommendation, or you can seek out and find someone yourself. There are things that I can do. There are videos that I can put up as far as learning how to overcome just like a negative stigma in general. But I would not go on record to say that I am trained in being able to like provide therapy for that, because I don't have the degree and credentials for that for you. But there are things that I could teach and I'll put here on YouTube. But I would highly, highly, highly suggest that you find a therapist that can help you with that. My wife comes multiple times because she is comfortable, relax, and take your time, fellas. Absolutely. How do you repair a pH balance in the vagina? Water. Drink plenty of water. Probiotics. Leave the dairy alone. Eat leafy green vegetables. Create an alkaline atmosphere within your body, and your vaginal pH will be on point. Or you can yoni steam. Once again, back to the yoni steaming. They are herbs that you boil. You put the herbs inside of a bowl, the bowl inside of the toilet. You let the steam rise. You wrap yourself in a blanket. You put on some footies or some house shoes, and you let the herbs do their work to help balance your vagina. Also, there are teas that you can drink that are made from herbs. It will also help place your body in an alkaline state. As long as your body is in an alkaline state, then your vagina will also be as well. But also, be careful. Be careful of what you're putting into your vagina and the clothes that you're wearing. Wear cotton underwear or no underwear at all. Wear clothing that allows your vagina to breathe. Be careful of the soaps and deodorants and things that you're using down there, because they can throw off your pH. Also, be careful of the condoms you're using, the lubricants you're using. If you're using tampons, be careful of the type of tampons that you're using and how long you keep them in during your menstrual. And take freshwater baths more regularly. If you want to help cleanse the vagina, you can put a little bit of clary sage or tea tree oil, essential oil inside of your bath. Mix it up, and it's cleansing for your body and for your vagina. So those are my pieces of advice. But in general, your body should be in an alkaline state in order for your entire overall pH in your body to be balanced, and for your vagina's pH to be balanced. Your vagina is like a filter, because your vagina will literally tell you if you're eating right or if you're eating improperly or if something is off in your body. And if you have a smell down there, it could be something that you ate filtering, or it could be a pH imbalance. So your vagina is telling you, get your shit together. She says she feels like less of a lady if she's not wearing panties. Well, there are a lot of women out here who will associate being classy and a lady and proper with certain acts or certain clothing, and that's fine. Eventually, one day, when she learns to disassociate her thoughts of being a good girl with wearing panties, then she will go free. The minute my doctor told me that it's healthy to not wear underwear, I stopped wearing them because I've always been uncomfortable wearing them. My labia are large, and most panties will squeeze my labia like this, and I will get wedgies between my lips and wedgies in my ass crack, because then my booty eats up the panties. So for me, wearing panties has never been comfortable. I've always hated them. I've always hated panty lines. I've always hated how panties look, inside of pants. So I never wear them. When did I stop wearing panties? I think I stopped wearing panties in 2007. So it's been 10 years since I've been panty free. And the only time I wear panties is when I have a photo shoot or something like that. Other than that, I don't wear them because they're uncomfortable. So it's all right. It's all right if your girlfriend is feeling the way that she does, because it's very valid. But again, once she learns how to disassociate, she'll be fine. Yes, alkaline everything. You need to. No. Panties do not throw off the pH of the body. They do not. But if a woman is wearing panties that are too tight and they are not made of a breathable fabric like hemp or cotton, then the vagina becomes claustrophobic, and in that type of space where no air is able to get into a dark, damp, moist environment, what's going to grow, guys? What's going to grow? In a moist, dark, damp, warm environment with no air. Fungus, yeast, all that stuff. The vagina needs air to breathe so that the good bacteria can have a time to flourish. Smells come from a buildup of bacteria. Smells just don't pop out of anywhere. Yeast smells like paste. So if you have a yeast infection, you're not going to smell bad, but you're going to itch and have a nasty ass discharge. If there's a smell down there, typically that's bacterial vaginosis, which is a buildup of and an overgrowth of the bad bacteria in the vagina. That is where that smell comes from. And that can be cured. So, yeah, but panties do not throw off the pH of the body. Not at all. But it can contribute to the vaginal pH being thrown off. The vagina has a very intricate and sensitive ecosystem of good and bad bacteria that needs to remain in balance. Yes, stress can throw off the entire body's pH. Stress can kill you. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have to monitor your levels of stress and learn how to do things to decompress. Meditation and yoga helps for me. Yes, Tiffany, the vagina can clean itself. That's what this discharge is all about. The vagina is the only organ that will clean itself. However, when there is an overgrowth of bacteria, the vagina will need some assistance to kill the bacteria so that it can get back to its normal process of cleaning. So there are some naturopathic things that can be used. One remedy for yeast and BV that I've used personally and I've done research on, and I've also gotten I fact checked with some of my gynecological friends, is boric acid. Yes, the thing that kills roaches. If you take boric acid and you put it into capsules, you do not ingest it through your mouth. You literally take these capsules and you insert them into the vagina. You insert one capsule every night for 3 nights before you go to bed. And then the 4th night, you take a freshwater bath to cleanse out any residue from the boric acid. And you'll be good to go, as good as new, because it's killing off the bacteria. And I was really amazed at how quick, yeah. Huh? Oh, okay. I was really amazed at how well it worked and how clean I felt after. Because for any of us that have gone to the doctor and gotten treatments for BV or treatments for yeast infections, you know that it takes like a week of antibiotics, and then those antibiotics often compromise your immune system and causes your immune system to become weaker. So you have to like eat well and rest during that time and lots of water. But with boric acid, literally you just put the capsule into the vagina for 3 nights, and then you take a freshwater bath, meaning you don't put anything in your bath but water. Or you can take a douche bag with just plain water and you can douche. Inserting garlic works too. I have tried it because garlic is a antibacterial. So it kills anything that's in the body. You can take that garlic and you can unclove it and you can just stick it right up there. Or you can put it in a cheesecloth and stick it in and put a string on it. You can put a string around the cheesecloth and put the garlic inside the cheesecloth and then put it inside the vagina and just let it sit there overnight. And then you can bring it out. Coconut oil is not going to cure BV or bacterial vaginosis. It's simply not. Can you use coconut oil to moisten the vagina during sexual intercourse or when inserting anything? Sure. But coconut oil is not going to kill bacteria. It's not. So, ladies and gentlemen, please stop thinking that like coconut oil is like the cure for all. It's not. It has a lot of great benefits and it's high in saturated fats and all of that. Yeah, garlic is a natural way to cure yeast infections and bacterial vaginosis. But again, remember, with anything natural, it's going to take some time. So you're still going to have to insert this garlic for like 5 nights. You know what I mean? And then take a freshwater bath. So But anyway, we're getting off topic. I've been on for over an hour. I think I've given you enough information for today, but I will hop back on tomorrow with another topic and answering another question from my inbox. So if you have a question, please feel free to reach out to me at asktyomi@gmail.com. If any of you watching would like to hop into a session with me where we can work one-on-one and I can really help you move closer to the sex life that you desire and help you kind of decompress some of the things that are suppressing your sexuality, you can shoot me an email at asktyomi@gmail.com to inquire about my Skype sessions, my one-on-one Skype sessions, where I can take you through coaching online from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to leave home. You don't even have to see me in person. You don't even have to have your camera on if you don't want. We can totally do it all from audio, but this is what I do. This is the work that I'm dedicated to. So if you are dedicated to doing the work on yourself, for your sex life, then I would suggest you reach out to me so we can get you into some sessions before the summer begins. So I do not give out my prices over things like this. If you want to know what my pricing is and how you can get into a session with me, please send me an email at asktyomi@gmail.com. And I'll see you on the next live right here on YouTube. Have a great day, guys.